Hi, I'm Julio.
And I'm the AI that will make this story even more unpredictable.
Here's how it works. I write the first 4 chapters full of mystery, clues, and twists.
And then I step in to write the final chapter.
But here's the challenge. Can you guess the ending the AI will create before it's revealed?
I doubt you can. My endings always have a hidden surprise.
So, join us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the idea and share in the comments how you think this story should end. Will your theory beat the AI's twist? The rain hammers against the thin window like it's trying to get in. I don't blame it. Even the rain wants shelter in this godforsaken corner of Tacoma. My laptop casts a sickly blue glow over the scattered photos of missing teenagers. 5 in 18 months, all smiling, all gone. I take another swig from the bottle. The whiskey burns, but not enough to wash away the faces staring back at me. The editors back in Seattle thought they were doing me a favor, shipping me out here after the Brookside scandal. A chance to rebuild, they said. What they meant was exile. My phone buzzes. No caller ID. I let it ring. Whoever it is can leave a message like the others. Promises of information that never materialize, threats from people who don't want me here. It stops, then buzzes again with a text. Check your door. The message was sent 3 minutes ago. My heart pounds against my ribs as I reach for the drawer where I keep the small canister of pepper spray. The carpeted floor feels damp under my bare feet. That's when I hear it, a soft scraping sound outside my door. Not a knock, not footsteps, just a whisper of movement, then nothing. I hold my breath and count to 10. The silence stretches. Pressing my eye against the peephole reveals only the empty, dimly lit hallway. With the chain still latched, I crack open the door. Nobody. But there, on the worn carpet, sits a manila envelope, its edge pushed just beneath my door. I snatch it and lock up fast. The envelope is lightweight, unmarked. Inside is no note, no explanation, just a plastic keychain with a faded logo, Timber Creek Mill. The place shut down years ago. Dangling from it is a small rusted key with the number 14 etched into the metal. My phone buzzes again, same unknown number. Find it before they do. I drop the key like it's burning my palm. These kids didn't just vanish. Someone took them, and someone else knows why. The same someone who slipped this key under my door. My laptop pings with an email notification. It's from my editor. Deadline's Friday, Salinger. Give me something or come home. The rain intensifies, drowning out the sound of my racing thoughts. I pick up the key again, turning it over in my fingers. The rust leaves a reddish stain on my skin that looks too much like dried blood in this light. Another text. They're watching your room. I rush to the window, yanking back the curtain. Through sheets of rain, across the parking lot, I catch the brief flash of headlights switching off in a car I don't recognize. The whiskey bottle tempts me from the nightstand, but instead I grab my jacket. Whatever this key opens, whoever left it, they've just made this more than a story. They've made it personal. The wipers struggle against the downpour as I navigate through Tacoma's empty streets. My hands shake on the steering wheel, half from the cold, half from withdrawal. The key sits heavy in my pocket, its presence impossible to ignore. I pull into a 24-hour diner, choosing a booth with a clear view of the entrance and my car. The waitress eyes my soaked clothes, but says nothing when I order just coffee. Timber Creek Mill, I mutter, pulling up search results on my phone. Local history sites mention the place closed in 2011 after a fire. Nothing unusual except, I pause, scrolling back, except the mention of a night watchman found dead 2 weeks before the fire, ruled a suicide. Convenient. The bell above the door jingles. A man in a police uniform enters, shaking rain from his jacket. Detective Marcus Reed. I've interviewed him twice about the missing teenagers. Both times, he fed me the official line. Runaways, troubled homes, no evidence of foul play. Both times, I caught him checking what he could say against something on his phone. He spots me and hesitates before approaching. I slip the key deeper into my pocket. Salinger, little late for coffee, isn't it? His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Could say the same to you, detective. He slides into the booth across from me, uninvited. Heard you've been asking about storage facilities near the harbor. I hadn't. Not yet. My pulse quickens. Following leads, I reply, keeping my face neutral. There are no leads, just desperate parents who can't accept that their kids made a choice to leave. His radio crackles. He lowers the volume but doesn't answer it. This isn't Seattle. We look after our own here. Is that what happened to Michael Dawson? I ask, naming the first missing teen. Someone looked after him? Reed's jaw tightens. You're writing a story or looking to become one? When he leaves, I notice he's left something on the table. A business card for Harbor Lock and Storage. Written on the back. Not everything stays buried. The handwriting doesn't match Reed's signature from my interview notes. Outside the diner, my car sits alone in the rain. The passenger window is cracked open. I know I closed it. On the seat lies a newspaper clipping, an obituary for Thomas Mercer, the night watchman from Timber Creek. His surviving family includes a daughter, Eliza, who would be about 19 now, the same age as 3 of the missing teens. My phone buzzes with a text. 14 isn't a locker, it's a date. I check the article again. Thomas Mercer died on February 14, 2011. Valentine's Day. Back in my car, the radio switches on by itself, static giving way to a local news update. Police confirm they've recovered personal items belonging to missing Tacoma teen Jessica Whitman in the harbor area. The search continues for, I switch it off, hands trembling. Harbor Lock and Storage. The date. The key. They're connected. The drive to the harbor takes 20 minutes. The storage facility sits dark and silent, a chain-link fence surrounding rows of identical units. No security guard, just cameras that pivot to follow my car. I park across the street, killing the headlights. My phone buzzes again. Wrong place. Timber Creek. North entrance. Midnight. It's 11:17 p.m. The abandoned mill is on the outskirts of town. I start the engine, then freeze as headlights flare to life behind me. A police cruiser. Not Reed's. Someone else. They don't move, just wait, engine idling. I pull away slowly, checking the rearview mirror. The cruiser follows at a distance, lights off. My hand closes around the key in my pocket. The rust feels like dried blood against my skin. I make a sudden turn down an alley, then another, losing the tail, but also losing precious minutes. By the time I reach the mill's northern perimeter, it's 3 minutes to midnight. The rain has finally stopped, leaving an eerie silence. The abandoned building looms against the night sky, its broken windows like empty eye sockets. That's when I see it, a faint light moving inside the mill. Not flashlights, not emergency lights. Fire. Someone wants to burn this place down, again. I reach for my phone to call it in, but there's no signal. Just another text message that must have come through earlier. You're not the only one with a key. The fence around Timber Creek Mill has long gaps where rust and neglect have done their work. I slip through easily, the scent of damp wood and mold filling my lungs. The fire I spotted is contained to one room on the ground floor, more like a controlled burn than an attempt to raise the building. My footsteps echo on concrete as I move through the cavernous main floor. Ancient machinery stands silent, frozen in time. I follow the flickering light, staying close to the walls. The room with the fire is at the end of a narrow hallway. A metal barrel burns in the center, illuminating walls covered in photographs and newspaper clippings. A makeshift investigation board. I'm not the first person looking into these disappearances. The photos show the missing teens, but also others. Faces I don't recognize. And older clippings, yellowed with age. Disappearances dating back to the 1990s. All teenagers. You shouldn't be here. The voice comes from behind me. I spin around. A woman emerges from the shadows. Early 60s, her face weathered by years of worry. She doesn't look surprised to see me. You sent the key, I say, not a question. I sent a warning. She moves to the fire, feeding another scrap of paper into it. You're the reporter, the one asking questions nobody wants answered. And you're Eliza Mercer's mother, Thomas's widow. Her eyes narrow. Thomas knew what was happening at the mill, said the company was using the kids somehow. Then they called it suicide when they found him hanging. She spits the last word. Thomas never hung himself. He was terrified of heights. What happened to your daughter? I ask. They took her after Thomas died, said it was drugs, that she ran away. The woman's hands shake. She wouldn't leave without saying goodbye. Not Eliza. The key. What does it open? Not what. Who? She hands me a folded piece of paper. There's a man, works for the city now, used to be security at the mill. He keeps records, says it's his insurance. The paper contains an address in the wealthy part of Tacoma and a name. Gerald Haywood, deputy mayor. Why me? I ask. Why now? Because they're starting again. And because I've tried everyone else. She looks at the fire. Do you know what Timber Creek means in the local native language? I shake my head. Place where children disappear. A noise outside, tires on gravel. Flashlight beams sweep through the broken windows. Police, she whispers. They monitor this place. Someone must have followed you. We need to go. There's no we, she interrupts. I was never here. Neither were you. She slips into the darkness of an adjacent corridor before I can stop her. The barrel fire continues to consume whatever evidence she was destroying. I move in the opposite direction, finding a loading dock door that opens to the forest behind the mill. Rain begins again as I make my way through underbrush, keeping the flashlight beams behind me. My car is too exposed. I'll have to circle back later. For now, I keep moving through the trees, trying to put distance between myself and the mill. My phone vibrates. One bar of signal. A text from an unknown number. Stay away from Haywood. Then another, from the same sender as before. Trust no one with a badge. I pocket the phone and keep walking until I reach a road. Headlights appear in the distance. I step back into the tree line, but it's too late. The car slows. It's not a police cruiser, but a black SUV with tinted windows. The passenger window rolls down. The driver is a man I've never seen before, but the passenger I recognize instantly. Sarah Whitman, mother of Jessica, the most recent missing teen. Get in, she says. Her eyes are red-rimmed from crying. They know you were at the mill. Who's they? I ask, not moving. The people who took my daughter, her voice breaks. The same people who've been taking kids for decades. The driver says nothing, just stares straight ahead. Where's your daughter's backpack? I ask, remembering the news report about recovered items. The one they found at the harbor. Sarah's expression changes. What backpack? They didn't find anything of Jessica's. The false news report. The police following me. Reed's warning. It all connects. I make a decision and slide into the back seat. As we pull away, I glimpse movement in my peripheral vision. The widow from the mill, watching from the trees. Her expression is unreadable. The SUV accelerates onto the highway, heading not toward the city, but deeper into the forested outskirts. Sarah turns to face me. You have something they want, she says. Something that proves what they've been doing. The key burns in my pocket. I don't mention it. We're taking you somewhere safe, the driver finally speaks. His voice sounds familiar. I glance at his reflection in the rearview mirror and feel my blood freeze. The man isn't looking at the road. He's looking at me. And I know his face from the photos in my motel room. He's one of the missing teenagers from 10 years ago. "You're Ryan Keller," I say, unable to keep the shock from my voice. "You disappeared in 2013. The driver's eyes flick to mine in the rearview mirror. "And you're the drunk reporter nobody believes. Guess we've both got reputations that don't tell the whole story." Sarah's hand grips my wrist. "Ryan came back to help find Jessica. He knows how they operate." "They?" My mind races, connecting fragments. "The people from the mill?" "The mill was just one place," Ryan says. "They move around, change names, but it's always the same people at the top." We turn onto a private road that winds through dense forest. The headlights catch a small cabin ahead, no other houses in sight. "My family's hunting property," Sarah explains as we pull up. "No paper trail connecting it to me. We should be safe here." Inside, the cabin is sparse but clean. Ryan secures the door while Sarah lights a kerosene lamp, avoiding electric lights that might be spotted from outside. "I need you to tell me everything," I say, starting with who they are and why they're taking teenagers. Ryan sits heavily in a wooden chair. It started as a research program, psychological testing on troubled youth who wouldn't be missed. The mill was a front. The real facility is underground, beneath where the night watchman's office used to be. "Thomas Mercer," I say. Ryan nods. He found out what they were doing, was going to expose them. "What exactly were they doing?" I press. Sarah and Ryan exchange glances. "They're creating perfect operatives," Sarah says quietly. "Kids broken down and rebuilt, loyal, resourceful, untraceable." "For what?" I ask. "Corporate espionage at first," Ryan continues, "then government contracts. Now they work for whoever pays most." They call it the Tacoma Protocol. My heart pounds as pieces click into place. "And you escaped?" Ryan's laugh is hollow. "Nobody escapes. I'm one of theirs. Or I was. Until I started remembering who I used to be. A chill runs through me. If you're one of them, why should I trust you?" "You shouldn't," he says bluntly. "But Jessica's been in there 3 weeks. After a month, there's nothing left of who they were." "Ryan's fighting their programming," Sarah explains. "The treatments sometimes fail. That's why they're always recruiting, always replacing." "And the key?" I pull it from my pocket. Ryan tenses. "Where did you get that?" "Thomas Mercer's widow." "That's not possible." His voice sharpens. "Martha Mercer died in a car accident 2 years after Thomas." The hairs on my neck stand up. Then who was the woman at the mill? Before anyone can answer, Sarah's phone vibrates. Her face drains of color as she reads the message. "It's from Jessica's phone." Her voice trembles. "They say they'll return her if I bring them the key and the reporter." Ryan grabs the phone. "It's a trap." "Of course it's a trap," I snap, adrenaline coursing through me. "But it confirms they don't have her yet." I turn to Sarah. "If they really had your daughter, they'd send proof of life." "She's still in the facility," Ryan agrees. "But if they're making offers, they're desperate. That key must open something important." Sarah stands, resolute. "I don't care about conspiracies or protocols. I want my daughter back." "The facility entrance is heavily guarded," Ryan warns. "And even if we get in, we need leverage," I interrupt. "Something bigger than just this key." I pull out my phone, showing them the address for Deputy Mayor Haywood. "The woman at the mill, whoever she is, said this man keeps records. Insurance." "Haywood?" Ryan's eyes widened in recognition. "He was there during my training. He'd visit the facility, observe the procedures." "You're suggesting we go after the deputy mayor of Tacoma?" Sarah asks. "I'm suggesting we get proof, real proof that will make the police have to listen, no matter who's involved." I pocket the key again. Ryan, could you find the facility entrance again? He hesitates. Yes, but it won't be like walking through the front door. And I know where Haywood lives, Sarah adds. My husband did landscaping for half the city council. I weigh our options, the alcohol withdrawal making my hands shake. We split up. Sarah and I go to Haywood's. Ryan, you scout the facility, but don't engage. We meet back here in 3 hours. Ryan shakes his head. They'll be watching both locations. That's why we need a distraction. I pull out my reporter's notebook, something to divide their attention. As I outline the plan, headlights sweep across the cabin windows. We freeze. Expecting someone? I whisper. Sarah shakes her head, fear etching her features. Ryan moves silently to the window, peering through a gap in the curtains. Black sedan, 2 people inside. Police? I ask. Worse. Ryan's voice drops. Graduates. He reaches under the sofa, pulling out a handgun. Sarah gasps. You brought a gun into my cabin? She hisses. Insurance, he replies grimly. Go out the back. There's a trail that leads to the main road. I'll hold them off. We're not leaving you, Sarah insists. The sound of car doors closing echoes outside. Ryan turns to me. The key. Give it to me. It's what they want. I hesitate. Something doesn't add up. How did they find us so quickly? A terrible suspicion forms. I look at Sarah. You said the text came from Jessica's phone. Can I see it? She hands me her phone. The message is there, but something catches my eye. The contact isn't listed as Jessica or even a number. It's stored as JW. Jessica's initials, not her name in her mother's phone. Ryan notices my expression change. What is it? Before I can answer, Sarah's hand darts to her purse. She pulls out not a phone, but a small taser. The electrodes hit my chest before I can react. As electricity courses through me, I see Ryan raising his gun. Not at Sarah, but at something outside. The window explodes inward. Ryan falls. Through pain-blurred vision, I see Sarah standing over me, her face transformed from a worried mother to something cold and calculating. Mothers don't store their daughters as initials in their phones, I manage to gasp. Smart, she admits, retrieving the key from my jacket, but not smart enough to realize Ryan was never one of ours. He's been working for us the whole time. The last thing I see before darkness takes me is Ryan getting to his feet, unharmed by the gunshot, taking his place beside Sarah. And behind them, in the doorway, a teenage girl, Jessica Whitman, very much not missing. She's holding my phone, sending a text. They'll know where to find you now, is all I hear before consciousness slips away.
I wake up to the sound of muffled voices. My head pounds like a drum, and my mouth tastes like ash. I try to move, but my wrists are bound. Panic rises in my throat, choking me. I twist against the restraints, but they hold firm. Let him go, a voice cuts through the haze. It's familiar, but distant. I can't quite place it. A moment later, the pressure around my wrists loosens. I blink against the harsh light, trying to make sense of the faces surrounding me. The room is sterile, bright white, a stark contrast to the dark woods of the cabin. Welcome back. Ryan's voice is flat, devoid of any warmth. Where am I? I croak, struggling to sit up. You're safe. Sarah's voice drips with feigned concern, but her eyes betray her. They glint with something darker. For now. What happened? I ask, forcing my mind to clear. You were a liability, Ryan says, his tone matter-of-fact. We couldn't let you go after Haywood without knowing where your loyalties lie. Loyalties? I laugh dryly, anger bubbling beneath my skin. You've got it all wrong. I'm the one trying to expose this. Exactly, Sarah snaps, leaning closer. And we can't have that. You were getting too close to the truth. I look around, taking in the sterile surroundings. A small table in the corner holds various medical instruments, each more ominous than the last. What is this place? An old facility, Ryan replies, his voice tinged with regret. It was abandoned after the fire. They've made it operational again, the perfect cover. What cover? I demand. What are you really doing? Creating a new world order, Sarah says, her eyes gleaming with fanaticism. Kids like Jessica and others, they're the future. They're being trained to take over, to replace the weak and the unworthy. Replace? My heart races. You're talking about human trafficking. You're monsters. Ryan shifts uncomfortably. You don't understand.
We're offering them a chance, a purpose. By brainwashing them, I almost shout, you turn them into something they're not. Sarah rolls her eyes. You're not here to judge. You're here to help us. The key you found? It unlocks the records, the evidence we need to ensure our survival. My blood runs cold. You mean the records of the missing kids? The ones that prove this is all real? The ones that prove we can control the narrative, Sarah insists. We need you to help us frame it in a way that keeps us safe. Why would I ever help you? Ryan steps forward. Because you care about finding Jessica, and you know that the police won't listen to you. But they will listen if you're on our side. Jessica is not a pawn in your game, I protest. Isn't she? Sarah shoots back. She is the key to everything. We need you to convince the world that we're the ones who can save her. I swallow hard, piecing together the fragments of their plan. You want to frame this as a rescue operation, don't you? To gain public sympathy? Exactly, Ryan nods. And we need you to play the part of the hero. I sit back, my mind racing. But what happens to the other kids? They'll be taken care of, Sarah assures me, her voice soothing but laced with menace. We can control the narrative. We can make it look like we're helping them. But first, we need to eliminate the threat, which is me, I breathe, realization dawning. Yes, Ryan says quietly, but it doesn't have to end badly for you. Help us and you can save Jessica. Why should I trust you? Because we're all that's left, Ryan replies. You know that, and because we're not the only ones looking for her. A chill runs down my spine. What do you mean? They've been watching us, monitoring our movements, Sarah says, her tone low. They want to silence us, and they'll stop at nothing. My heart races as I consider the implications. You mean the others? The ones who really control this operation? Yes, Ryan confirms, but we can outsmart them. We can turn the tables. A new determination settles over me. Then let's do it, but I need my freedom. Sarah narrows her eyes. We can't trust you yet, but we'll arrange a meeting with Haywood. Why? Because he's the key to everything, Ryan replies. He knows where they keep Jessica, and if we can convince him to work with us, we can expose the entire operation. I nod slowly, weighing my options. All right, but it's on my terms. I want to see Jessica first. Fine, Sarah agrees, her voice smooth. But you'll need to do exactly as we say. No mistakes. I swallow hard, the weight of the situation pressing down on me. What's the plan? First, we need to get the key, Ryan says, glancing at Sarah. Then we'll set up a meeting with Haywood. You'll be the one to convince him. And if I don't, then we'll have to consider other options. I nod, steeling myself for the challenges ahead. Let's get to work. Hours later, I find myself back in the facility. The air is thick with tension, every sound amplified. As we move through the dimly lit hallways, I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched. Ryan leads the way, his expression tight. Stay close. We don't know how many are here. Who? I whisper, my heart racing. The ones who took the kids, he replies, his voice barely above a whisper. They're everywhere. As we reach the main office, I feel a knot of dread in my stomach. The door is ajar, and the light flickers ominously. Ryan gestures for me to stay back, but curiosity propels me forward. I peek inside, my breath catching in my throat. The room is filled with files, documents strewn about like confetti. And in the center, a massive corkboard covered in photographs, faces of the missing. "Look," I whisper, pointing to a photo of Jessica. My heart drops as I recognize the other faces. They're all familiar, kids I've seen before, all linked to this dark web. Ryan steps beside me, his expression grim. We need to take these. Suddenly, a noise echoes from the hallway. My pulse quickens. We need to move, I hiss, grabbing a handful of files. As we turn to leave, the door swings open, revealing a group of men in dark clothing. Their expressions are cold and calculating. "Too late," one of them says, stepping forward. "You shouldn't have come here." "Run!" I shout, adrenaline surging through me. We dash down the hallway, the sound of footsteps pounding behind us. I glance back, fear gripping me as I see them gaining on us. "Down here!" Ryan yells, veering off into a side corridor. We sprint through the maze of hallways, my lungs burning. The walls seem to close in, shadows lurking at every corner. "Where do we go?" I gasp, desperation creeping into my voice. "Just keep running," Ryan shouts, determination fueling his every step. We round a corner and skid to a halt as we come face to face with a dead end. There's nowhere to go. "Think," I breathe, panic rising. Ryan's eyes dart around, spotting a window. "Up there!" We scramble to reach it, pushing against the cold metal frame. Just as I manage to pry it open, the footsteps grow louder. "Now," Ryan urges. I climb through first, landing on the grassy ground below. As he follows, I catch a glimpse of the men rounding the corner, their faces twisted with malice. "Go!" I yell, pulling him toward the trees. We run deeper into the woods, the branches scratching at our skin. My heart pounds in my chest, each beat echoing the urgency of our escape. Suddenly, Ryan stops, grabbing my arm. "We need a plan." "Plan?" I gasp, glancing back. "We need to put distance between us and them." He shakes his head. "No, we need to confront them. This isn't over." I swallow hard, fear and determination mixing in my gut. "What do you propose?" "Go back to the mill. We can use the evidence we found against them. We'll expose them for what they are." "Are you insane?" I protest. "They'll kill us." "Or we'll finally bring them down," he argues. "It's the only way to save Jessica and the others." I look at him, the weight of his words sinking in. "All right, but we do it my way." With a nod of agreement, we turn back, creeping through the underbrush, preparing for the final confrontation. As we near the mill, I can see the faint glow of lights flickering in the distance. My heart races, a mix of fear and resolve coursing through me. "We're doing this," I whisper, and Ryan nods, determination etched on his face. Together, we step into the shadows, ready to face whatever comes next. This time, it's not just about survival. It's about justice. It's about saving the kids who never got a chance. And it's time to end this nightmare once and for all.